Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you the Thank You Next book tag. I am so excited to be doing this tag. This tag was created by This Story Ain't Over. I will leave her channel linked down below. I encourage you to check her channel out. It is awesome. I am so excited for this tag. I actually do not really listen to Ariana Grande a whole lot, but like I am addicted to this song. Like it's not even that it's like necessarily like the most amazing song ever with like incredible lyrics or anything, but like it's really catchy. So anyways, aside from that, let's just go ahead and get right into the tag. First question is to name a book that you said thank you next to. For example, a book you DNF'd. And for that, I'm going to go with Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johnson, I think is the author's last name. I'm not 100% certain. I bought this book as an ebook a couple of years ago, and I read like, I would say like a pretty good chunk of it, and I hated it. I hated it so much. And then finally I was like, all right, like it's time. I'm never going to finish this book because there was a lot of things I didn't like about it, and I feel really bad saying that because I do know that like some people really, really love this series, but for me, I thought it was awful. I thought the main character, she hated every other female, and I just thought that was, I just can't stand books like that where it's like constant girl on girl hate, and like I didn't understand like the romance aspect because like in the beginning of the book, she like kind of described the guy as like older and unattractive, and like he had like, I'm pretty sure she like said that he had like gray or something like that in his beard or something, like somebody like significantly older, and then like the story kind of changes as like it all goes along, and he's really not that old, and he's, I don't know, I just couldn't do it, so I DNF'd it, and I'm not even mad that I did it. Question number 2 is to name a book that taught you love, and for that I'm going to go with The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this book this last summer and was totally blown away by it. Of course it does follow Evelyn Hugo's life as she's telling it to like a journalist who's going to be writing like her life story, and she talks about her 7 marriages, her 7 husbands, and it is, oh gosh, what I really enjoyed about this book is like each relationship was very different. There were different reasons behind it, and I liked the different kinds of love that were portrayed in each marriage and how that love can change over time or through different actions, and I really, really enjoyed this book. I was totally blown away by it, and I'm so happy that I read it and have it on my shelf. The third question is to name a book that taught you patience, and for that I'm going to stretch it a little bit and talk about a series that I think taught me patience, and that is The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. There is a ship in this book that you want to sail so bad, and it takes so long. So I think I was just like, yeah, I mean like patience and just waiting for this, because like you know it's coming. You see it from like a mile away and you're like, happened already, like why isn't it happening yet? And it, you know, I understand why it takes so long, but at the same time it was hard not to get super frustrated at it. So definitely would say this series. This is a young adult fantasy series that follows a girl named Elisa as she like gets involved in politics and ruling a kingdom and foreign marriages and all sorts of crazy things. It's a really awesome series. There's a lot of political intrigue in it, some like religious undertones, lots of things happen in this series. It's so good. Could not recommend it enough, but it will definitely teach you patience. The fourth question is to name a book that taught you pain. And for this, I'm going to go with It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is thus far, up to date, what I've read of Colleen's books, my favorite book by her. I related so much to this book and the thing that the main character was going through. I don't want to spoil too much about this book. It made me cry so many times, like sobbing, ugly tears, like red in the face, awful crying, but it is so beautiful, so rewarding. I love the theme behind this book. I love the story she's telling, and it's, oh god, it gets you right in the feels. Like I said, I don't want to give anything away about this book. I went into this book not knowing anything about it, and I'm so glad I did that because, like, I didn't even read the back. I don't want to read the back out to you guys. I don't want to tell you much about it, but just, like, if you want to read like an ugly cry book that will sort of like change your perspective on things, I highly recommend reading this book. Next up is to name a book that you loved while you were reading it, but in hindsight you might not enjoy it as much anymore. And for that I'm going to go with Scarlett by Alexandra Ripley. I read this book when I was like in high school. I was really young when I first read this book, and I don't think I grasped all the things that were going on in it, like from like a more critical reading standpoint. So I'm scared to reread it. I actually have not reread it because I loved it when I first read it. Like, it was one of my favorite books that I had read, and I was so hyped up about it, and I'm so scared to go back and reread it because thinking about some of the things that kind of happen in this book and some of the different themes, I am terrified that I will end up hating it. So I tried to keep like a good memory of this book because it was such a good book to me. This is of course the unofficial sequel. I don't think it's official, but the unofficial, I'm just gonna say unofficial sequel to Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. Fun fact, I have never actually read Gone with the Wind. I've only seen like the TV show, so I think it's kind of funny that I've read this book, but I just loved Rhett and Scarlett together, and I don't want their relationship to be ruined if I go back and reread it as an adult who has now had some life experiences. So yes. Question number 6 is to name a book that you're currently talking to or like have the hots for. And currently I am totally into Perversion by T.M. Fraser. This is the first book in her new series. I believe the series is like now complete, or it's going to be complete very soon. So that's really exciting. I'm reading this for a readathon right now, and I am so into it. I love it. It's messed up. There's lots of things that are happening. Smut though, and steaminess, and I'm enjoying it so much. I'm so glad I picked it up. I like the cover a lot. I like how the name of the book is like the cover, and I'm so glad to have this on my shelf. I cannot wait to finish this. I don't know yet. I bet I'll probably end up wanting to pick up the second and third book in the series like soon. The final question is to name a book that go last, and I wanted to pick something kind of different from what I've been seeing other people pick, because I feel like every book I read, like most of them that I really love, always have like some sort of an impact on me. And for this one specifically this time, I'm going to go with The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I'm totally pronouncing that last name wrong. I'm so sorry. I also read this book this last summer, and I was so blown away by it. There were parts of it that I didn't like, but then parts of it that I really liked. It's basically, like, to sum it up in like plain terms, it's basically a book of life lessons. That's kind of how I see it. It follows a shepherd boy who is trying to kind of become something more than what he already is, and this like crazy adventure that he sets out on, and he sort of like discovers himself along the way. And I really liked that about this book. I really enjoyed it. There were, like I said, there were some parts that I feel like weren't necessary, but it's a really short, quick read. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something that just talks about like general life lessons or self-discovery, like in a fiction format. This would be a great book for that. But yes, this is one that I will probably always think about. So there you have it. This is my thank you next book tag. I'm so happy I made this tag. I'm so happy this tag is in existence. I loved all of the questions on it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!